I've been married 4 years, and it's going great. Everybody actually says the first year of marriage is the hardest, and I don't think that's true at all. I think it's probably the last year. That's a little more struggles, I bet, right? And my wife is awesome. She's the one that likes to spice up her marriage. The other day, she came to me, she's like, hey, do you want to watch porn together? And I was like, no. I was like, no. And she's like, why not? I'm like, because you'll talk through it. You can't watch a porno with your wife, guys, the entire time. She goes, if that girl would get in that car with those guys. Well, how's she get home later? I don't know, sweetie. I've never seen a porno all the way through. They look like they're getting along at the end of the gangbang. They'll probably give her a ride, I think. So for the last couple of years, my wife and I, we actually watched a lot of TV. That's what we did, right? And before the pandemic, I had my shows that I'd watch by myself. She had her shows that she'd watch by herself. And then we had our shows we'd watch together, right? But during the pandemic, we couldn't do that because we were just together all the time, right? So I started watching her shows too, and I got really into HGTV. Where's my HGTV fans out there, huh? Yeah. Favorite show became my favorite show, a show called House Hunters International. Okay, this joke is for 5 people, okay? Some comics, they do jokes that everybody laughs at, you know what I mean? I like to be very specific, 5 people at a time. And if you like the glory hole joke, this joke is probably not for you. And vice versa. I find those two are never that Venn diagram, they never meet. But if you haven't watched the show, it's a reality show where people go to another country and they're looking for a place to live and they get 3 choices, right? Somebody shows them, and then we watch and try to figure out who's gonna win, and you can always tell like who's the power dynamic in the relationship. My wife and I try to guess, right? Like which one are we gonna pick? We're like number 2, and they'll be like number 3, and we're like, fuck, you're stupid, right? But if anybody watches that show or watched any show over the last 2 years, reality show, you know one thing, they were all filmed pre-pandemic, right? Right? So you're watching real people live their lives with no idea of the shitstorm that's coming. Right? So it's weird because they don't look like anybody here. They're walking around happy. They say phrases you haven't heard in 2 years, like, in 6 months, we're going to do this. And you're like, no, you're not. You are so wrong about that, right? And if you're a fan of the show, like only 5 people here are, you know this, that some people go to a foreign country to buy investment properties, right? So there's like one episode where they go, Huatuco, Mexico, and they're buying an Airbnb, right? And they're so excited because they're taking all their life savings. They're like going to risk it all because this place gets so many tourists. They're just going to clean up, right? But it's filmed in like December of 2019. Yeah, so it's like you're watching a horror movie where you know there's a murderer in the house, but they have no clue. So you're just yelling at the TV and they're walking around like, this place is amazing. It's got a pool. And you're like, don't go in there. It's got a credenza. You're going to love it. Run! Right?
Like that? There's more where that came from. I picked out a couple more clips I think you'll enjoy. Oh, and don't forget to hit subscribe to get the latest content from the Snowed in Comedy Tour.